good evening, everybody. How are you tonight? Yay! Oh, my camera's off center, but I don't care. That's all right. I'm scooting over here so that I can get a better view on this story. Anyway, how is everybody? I hope you had an awesome holiday. And I had a fine time with my sister Sarah. And since then, it's been good. I got a lot. Today I had a movie marathon with some friends from Creative Work Hour, and that was a hoot. And I'll share some of the stuff that I did with you guys. But Linda, welcome in for my great moderator, Linda, and my other great moderator, Tamra. Thank you guys and good friends for being here so much. If you are listening in on the replay, welcome to Story and Art. Yep, where I live on the Key Peninsula, so I call it Keeping It Real, like REEL, sometimes as in movies or like that. But really, this is Story and Art. I share wonderful picture books with you, and with the philosophy that picture books are not just for children. They have something in them that resonates with each and every one of us. And as creatives and artists, mainly that are hanging out with me, we really appreciate the artwork and what goes into these to make a truly wonderful story. So, yeah, and this is 647, show 647. Yeah. Uh, I kind of gave up a while back, keeping a log of everything. I was really good through about show 500, and then I kind of like, I don't know what happened. Anyway, tonight is show and tell night. So I also share artwork from members in the community, otherwise known as the Bucket Filling Brigade. How you doing, bucket fillers? Let's see. Linda is here. It's almost time for the last story of Story in Art. Yeah, this is this so New Year's Day is Thursday, right? That's yeah, New Year's Day is Thursday. So this is the last one of 2025. Yeah. The next one will be on Thursday, which will be 2026. Woohoo, my goodness. Oh my goodness, yeah. And hey, I'm getting up close to the 500 mark of subscribers, which is like crazy. Yeah, it's not something that I pushed for or anything, but I sure would like to hit that 500. Wow, wouldn't that be cool? Anyway, let's see. Linda's here, and Tamara, it's almost 40 degrees centigrade there. Are you serious? And today we were lucky if we hit 40 degrees Fahrenheit, which is brr. Yeah, brr. This morning it was 31. Very cold this morning. And I have a bush of forestry fire 10 kilometers. Oh no. Oh, Tamara. Tamara is in Australia, and it is it is that hard time of year for them with wildfires and heat. All right. And yeah, let's send good vibes that the fire stays well away from you. Yay. Um, you try to do some painting. Yeah, that is calming. I have found that this word a day that I have done, um, even though it's been kind of like, what's going to be my word? How can I make it different? Today was one or that I did for tomorrow. And I'll get to show you what it is. It took me a lot longer than the other ones, but it was just nice to paint on this one and kind of do some creative stuff. So that's what's up. Let's see, what else do I have to share? Our Global Year of Kindness 2026. So Global Year of Kindness starts on Thursday for the real go for it. And I will be able to share more of the Notion page with you guys. And I have told Fatima that I want some artwork. I have some of her artwork from that she's submitted for the banner part. And we'll see. And my friend Greg, that is with Creative Work Hour, has offered to help out on getting it up in as a landing page. And that's awesome. He has a kindness campaign that he does also, and he does a kindness podcast. So there'll be some collaborations in the future with this. I'm very excited for it. Hey, Mr. Moderator Paul, how are you? How did piano go today, sir? I'm sorry I missed it. I was in the midst of um, um, a Christmas movie marathon with Alessandra and Melanie and that whole Creative Work Hour crew. It was pretty crazy. Um, Paul has been my friend there, Mr. Moderator. Paul has been uh, teaching himself piano again after 20 years of giving it up. And so he is going live every day at about 2 o'clock, I think, generally. Sometimes it switches off. And he does 15 to 20 minutes on this lesson that of a new kind of piano. But it's very cool. It's a different type of piano like instruction than I'd ever seen. So that's really interesting. And coming from someone who took 8 years of piano lessons herself, and now he's trying to learn to coordinate his left and right hand again, to do things which I completely sympathize with, because not an easy thing to do. Yeah, I have a few chords that I remember from a few songs, but that's about it. When my 7-year-old granddaughter can outshine me on many things, it's kind of nice, actually. It's pretty nice. Anyway, you guys, welcome to this evening. Good. I think we're learning. You think we're learning. Oh my goodness. All right. So tonight we have show and tell. Whoa. My headphones are loud in my ears. So first up, Tamara gave me this beautiful email with her things, and I wanted to read it for you guys, for the bucket fillers. She says, "This is what I've been creating, some neck and arm pieces, which I'll show you in just a minute. They are all made from broken and leftover bits." And then I was going through her live art with Gretchen journal and picked 3 of my favorite pieces from 2022, 2023, and 2024. Can you imagine how long we've been doing this? I treasure my time with you all. There are so many beautiful memories together with joys and tears. This is such a special place. Thank you, Gretchen, for all that you do for the world and for us in your collective. Wishing you and your loved ones abundance and good health and happiness filled with love for 2026 and beyond. Thank you, Gretchen, for so much, for being here, for being you, one awesome soul. I feel so blessed that I have this space with you all. And Tamara is just... Tamara, you are such an integral part of this community, and thank you so much for being here, for the kind words, and for always being an incredible inspiration for us. So let's just get rid of that and start with the neck and arm pieces that she's created. Her new art. Oh, Tamara. Okay. She's doing jewelry now. Oh my goodness. There. Yeah. Now she's cut jewelry. And you did macrame on the arm pieces and the bracelets, right? And then the arm and then the neck. So, because I noticed the macrame knots, I remember doing a lot of that back in the day when it was the cool thing to do. I think I was in junior high. In high school, I had a macrame belt I made. I wonder if I still have that belt. That would be cool to find. But these are gorgeous. I wonder, I wish I knew what kind of stones or pieces that you're adding in, because I see the leather or the cord and then the beading down here. On the one on the right, there's that single bead, and then this single circles. Those are very cool. It looks like they're almost like they're etched. Well done, Tamara. Well done. And then she has this one. These are from her live art with us from 2022. Shortly after I returned from Africa, she did one of the took one of the photos, I think it was, of one of my photos that I took in Africa, and did this drawing, which is so cool. And on my wall over here, on where I have several of my own photos, in the middle of that wall is my elephant with the symbol, the saying from that it was done by Linda for me, painted for Linda. Oh my gosh. And then the other piece is out in my other studio. 2023 is the snail. Was there a story that went with that one? I can't remember. It's been a while. Oh, the small piece is the arm piece. Okay. All natural, no plastic. Oh, the elephant. I know. Isn't that cool? Oh my gosh. I'll be right back. I gotta grab something. Okay. All right. All right. I'm back. So I'm just gonna, that just inspires me. It was from a story. Okay. All right. Because it reminds me of a photograph that I have of one of the young elephants that walked by us. And that was, there was a herd of elephants that had just come out of a mud bath, and they were coming through the jungle area. This was in Mala Mala, and they had a young one in amongst them, and he tried to kind of come over or come and see what we were all about in our Jeep, and the mother and the aunties dissuaded the little one from coming to inspect us. They said, they scooted him right back in. And then the snail, and then the other one with the circles. We were doing like Zentangle, and I was doing did I do a Zentangle challenge, or I had done some, and then she'd shown us hers, and she puts them together. Oh, Tamara, you put them together in such cool ways to have that awesome bird. It's so, so wonderful. Yay. Oh my goodness, my applause thing is really loud. I have my headphones up pretty loud. So if I jump, don't be surprised. All right, so next we have, all right, I'm going to move this and put this here because we're coming back and see, and I hadn't checked. All right, so this, you guys, you might remember this if I can get my camera to be the right size on my overhead. This was from Linda when I got back from Africa. She made this and sent it to me. She said, it says, I want to be improbable and afraid of nothing as if I had wings. But this was an absolutely beautiful piece that Linda did, Les Chabot, did for me, and I appreciate it so much. Then the other piece is out in my outside studio, and it is a collage of absolute amazing. But this one sits in here, stays in here. It's on my wall right over there where I can see it and be inspired. It's such a gorgeous piece. Yes, Linda, in 2022. Yeah, you did it right after I came back. Yeah, thank you so much. That's so cool. Yeah, we're rewinding. So Linda. Okay, so that was Linda's. Now, Here. All right. So I'm going to show you what I've been working on today or the past few days. So since New Christmas Eve, I have done some more word of the days, which you guys have probably seen. We're getting close to the end of those, and it is let's see. Hang on, I'm just looking at something here. There we go. B, and I'm going to mirror. That's not, is that it? Hang on. Oh, never mind. Okay. This one is a, let's do this. I know what I want this one to be. B. That's why. There we go. That's what it is. All right. So this is the word was aware on New Year's or on Christmas Eve. I had the eyes and the faces in there. And then for Christmas Day, I had the word peace, trying to make it like a globe, like a earth the thing, and to have it all in there. And that was that one. I think I used the Caran d'Ache Neo Color 2s on that. The day after for Boxing Day, I just did happy. I used those acrylic markers, the Arteza acrylic paint markers, just goofy. That was a fast one. Then for today, no, 27th, uplift. And this was the Derwent watercolor pencils. And I tried to do a gradient to get that uplift kind of like that. All right. I only have, I made a mistake earlier on one thing. So when it comes to the last few days, I have to do them on opposite sides of each other. Then last night was just, this one got all smeared, but it was called helpful. It was the word, and I just, this little part wasn't so helpful, but I was playing and I was tired and I wanted to get it done to go out. And then today, the one I did today that will be for tomorrow is called is friend. And I was going to do friendly, but I ran out of room. So I decided to add friendly or friendship, what it could be more. And this was another, the bubble letters. My sister asked me, how did I know how to do these kind of letterings? How long and what is, and I said, oh my gosh, I've been doing this since junior high. So it's kind of fun. So those are the kind of that. And then today, so this looks like a mess, a hot mess, but actually it is the kind of my rough draft of the Carnegie Library book. So what I've done is I printed out all the pages I lay them all out in Lightroom, and I printed them in a manner where I thought how I wanted them to go. And then the way I printed them was so that it could be put into folded and gathereds. Well, not really. It's not a true fold in F&G, but so that I could kind of see how it looks like. And so what you do with that is that you have 8 different page folds, and then they go together. 8 of them go together. So you end up with, like this is up through page 50. It's about 16 pages in there. So this is kind of what I'm working on. And then I had to glue them together back to back. So I can start to see how the book is going to go together. And if this is what size and what I don't want to do and where I want to put in text. And if I need to change the layout, I just needed to do some, and then this one will be connected to the next one, like right here. They're not connected to they're all separate right now. But so that one will come, and then the next set will go in like this. I wanted to be able to kind of get a sense of what it would feel like as an actual physical book. rather than as an online type of piece. And so these are all like draft prints of the pieces. So there's a bunch of those. So I've gotten through a fair number. Now I have to decide how I want, if this is the order that I kind of really want the book to be in. So that was my big art thing I'm working on, and that's been part of my 30-day challenge. So, yay. So that, like I said, that the one of the 30-day challenges that I had for myself was to go live for 30 minutes a day on my on-camera channel and edit those pictures. So, and actually I started with like 256 pictures, and there's 110 in the book. And then I had to edit all those, the 110, and then I had to figure out the layout. And the challenge was, with doing just 30 minutes a day of editing or allotting that time, could I get through a project like that? And I'm pretty pleased with what I've done, that I've gotten it to this point of layout. I don't have the text done, and I don't have that, but I didn't really expect that part. That's a whole nother harder part than, or at least another part. So yeah, thanks. Hey, thanks, Tamara. It's a project. So that's the Carnegie Library with the Road Building Freedom project. So we'll see how that comes along. I've got still going to go live today for that. I have to do so I'll do some work on that during my live on my on-camera channel after this. And then I'll have the 29th, 30th, and the 31st, which will give me 31 days of doing this. And I'll see how far I get. Yeah. Anyway, good. All right. So it's time for stories. So I have 2 books tonight in their Christmas to winter. There is one more book from Jan Brett that I had on hold, and it came back, and I had to do this one. And this one, I think you'll really be able to see. I think, we'll see what year this one came out, but it's several years later, after the Christmas trolls and stuff. How her artwork has stayed true to her style, but some things that have just umphed up a bit. And even in her newer stuff too, it's pretty amazing. And then another book that was a Caldecott Honor book in 2017 that I have not shared with you. That's a winter book that is just beautiful. So let's see what we do. All right, let's see if I can get books up here. Yay! And that's it. Good, I caught them up. All right, now here, oops. Fiddle-dee-dee, this happens to me all the way at time. Chrome always wants to, there we go. And I want to get my eCamm program. Oh, when I do that. Okay, I'm trying to move my program window off of here over to here, and then I'm just going to do this back. And I know what I'll do instead, because it's just not behaving there. I'm just going to close that one. Oh, there it is. Yay, it is over there. And then, so, there. Come back here. Come back here on top. There we go. Yes. Yay. This is called The Animal Santa. And like I said, this is a newer one of Jan Brett's. And although we'll see exactly what year it was, but you'll see again in her artwork. Um, it is something that she has done from her very first book, which might have been The Mitten. I'm not sure. I know, but she's always done these borders. And if when we watch in this one, you'll see there'll be side panels. I think in this book, side panels, not above and below, that tell another part of the story and also give a little foreshadowing of what the next animal that's going to be coming in. So this is The Animals Santa by Jan Brett. Get this up here. Yay. So the end pages on her pieces are absolutely stunning. Absolutely. The details of the animals, it's just so wonderful. I mean, look at that porcupine. So cute. The Animal Santa by Jan Brett. And let's see if I can see what year it came out. Oh, this was 2014. This is an older one. Oh, well. It's your first Christmas Eve, little Snow. The Animal Santa comes tonight, Big Snowshoe told his little brother. Who is the Animal Santa? Little Snow asked. We don't know who he is, Big Snowshoe said. Did you ever see him? Little Snow asked. No, the forest animals chimed in, but we find presents from him on Christmas. Last year, I found a heart-shaped wishing stone on my pillow when I woke up, Big Snowshoe told him. I was asleep when I heard ding dong, ding dong. I opened my eyes, and this little bell was right there next to me, the porcupine said. The Raven twins cawed. A puzzle toy was hanging from our tree branch on Christmas morning. We woke up and found a tasty snack of plump acorns, the squirrel cousins chattered. Someone left me a brush and to fluff my beautiful tail, the Arctic fox said proudly. Little Snow hadn't said a word. Wouldn't someone have seen his tracks in the snow? He asked. I think you are fooling me. No, we aren't, Big Snowshoe said. He wasn't sure who the animal Santa might be, but he believed he would come on Christmas. We think he's a badger, the squirrels chattered. His thick fur coat keeps him warm in the far north. No, the Raven twins cawed. There's always snow at Christmas, and if there's a blizzard, it would take a polar bear to find his way. I'm sure he's a moose, the porcupine told them. He can plow his way through deep snowy drifts. He could be a wolf, the Arctic fox said, smiling. There is no animal Santa, Little Snow shouted, and anyone who thinks so is silly. I believe there is, Big Snowshoe told him. But he wished he had seen the animal Santa so he could really be sure. No, no, no. Little Snow thumped his thumper foot so hard it shattered the ice on the stream. Broken bits slid across in a starburst, making a jingly-jangly noises. What a beautiful sound, Big Snowshoe thought as he helped his little brother back up on the bank. It's starting to feel like Christmas. Let's go home and get warm. The rabbit family snuggled down for the night. Maybe tonight we will see the animal Santa, Big Snowshoe whispered. Little Snow mumbled at him and fell asleep. Big Snowshoe was wide awake. Suddenly, he had an idea. He crept out of bed and went down to the stream. Big Snowshoe picked up lacy pieces of broken ice and carried them home to make ice chimes. He pulled up strands of hedge grass. He tied them to the delicate pieces of ice and hung them from the branches. There was no wind, so the icy pieces stayed still. It was midnight when a silvery note rang through the forest. Then another and another. It was Big Snowshoe's ice chimes. The rabbit family and the other animals woke up and jumped out of bed. Is it the animal Santa? They wondered. The animals did not see anyone or any tracks in the snow. Then, as if falling from the moon, a bundle of sweet clover landed at their feet. The animals looked up as one gift after another fell from the sky. Were they from the animal Santa? A white shape flew silently above them. Little Snow shrugged. Oh, it's only a bird, he said. As if he had heard, the snowy owl turned back and called out, "Merry Christmas, little friends." Everyone, look! Little Snow pointed at the sky. It's the animal Santa. Little Snow waved at the snowy owl and whispered into the night, "Animal Santa, now I know that you are truly, truly true." And that's The Animal Santa by Jan Brett. I love the owl. Oh my goodness, look at this. So I think I mentioned to you that Jan spends about an hour on every square inch, especially on the border work, to do her drawings. And the details and how she studies the different animals. She always works at, like when in her book Armadillo Rodeo, it is about a certain kind of so many banded armadillo, and it is consistent throughout all of them. Thank you, Paul. Yay. And you see the difference in the side part here. You can see the little bits of the story that's told in the where the animals are looking up and about. There's always like just hints all along the way. And then there's got to be, where's the hedgehog? Okay, she puts a hedgehog in almost every book. Did you guys find the hedgehog? I forgot to remind you to look. And I didn't find Hedgie. Okay, let me go back and see if I can find Hedgie. Okay, there's a porcupine. That's not the hedgehog. Oh. Is that Hedgie? No. Fiddle-dee-dee, I don't find it. Okay, go back. I have to go back through the pages now. Okay, not there. Not there. Maybe he is. There's a pine cone. Paul, this is like looking for those hidden things in Luis's scenes. Nope, not in the wolf. Not there. Not in there. Not the tree. Not there. Listen to us. Look at me looking for this. Wasting your. I just so love her artwork. It's just so. Okay, there's those guys. Where is Hedgie? There's little owl. There's little things. I was looking to see if it was in the basket. Huh. I'll have to send her a message. Ask her if she didn't put Hedgie in this one. Anyway, let's go back up to here. And then I can skip over to the next one. Okay, the next book. The next book came out, I think, in 2017. It's by Kate Banks. And I looked up some information about Kate. Beautiful author, wonderful. We lost her in 2024. It didn't say what happened to her, but she passed away. Naoka Stoop, who is the illustrator of this, has a Facebook page or an Instagram type thing. Didn't have a lot of information about her there. She's this. Let me scoot over to the screen share. Are we on? Yeah. Okay. It just says that she is lives in Brooklyn, but she was born and grew up in Japan. She's a self-taught artist who generally paints on brown paper bags and scraps of wood, and she sells her work in an Etsy shop. And that was some of her things. And then Kate Banks, American children's author. She was born in 1960. She died February 24th, 2024 in Switzerland. She was an American children's writer. Her books, The Night Worker, won the 2001 Charlotte Zolotow Award, which is a big deal. Charlotte Zolotow is an amazing author. And If the Moon Could Talk won the 1998 Boston Globe for best. So several books that she had out. But the book that I'm sharing with you tonight is called Pup and Bear. Yeah. I put a link to the Animal Santa in my description, Linda. So it's there. I put my Amazon associate link in the description, which is kind of fun. So this is just like I did for this book also. Pup and Bear, Kate Banks. This is more of a winter style story. And like I said, the illustrations, hi, Carlos, nice to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So Jan's Brett's illustrations are very very colorful, very bright, very precise, very lots of detail. Naoka Stoops for this book are almost an opposite type of styling and more muted in her colors. But that was one of the wonderful things about children's book illustrations. You get that so many different styles. And this book is kind of taking us into winter. So Pup and Bear by Kate Banks, illustrated by Naoka Stoop. Whoosh! When the great gray owl swooped down, screeching Woohoo! Woohoo! The Arctic wolves knew that the big freeze was on its way. They took shelter in a snowdrift, and they listened to the fierce wind holler and roar. They watched the snow blow in spirals, wrapping the world in a fluffy white coat. But when the wind's bitter cold breath turned warm and the sun appeared, the big melt came, and one lone pup found itself on a sheet of ice, spinning out to sea. The pup slid into the water. He swam and he swam, and when he reached the land, he burrowed into a snowbank. He was tired, and he wanted his mother. The pup closed his eyes and fell asleep, listening to the throb of silence across the still landscape. He woke to feel a cold nose against his fur. The smell was familiar. It was a polar bear. "You are not my mother," said the pup, flattening his ears against his head. "I am not your mother," said the polar bear, "but I can cuddle you and keep you safe." The pup was shy and frightened. "Aren't you going to eat me?" he asked. "Polar bears eat wolves." "Not this one," said the polar bear, shaking her head. "Climb on my back, and I will take you to my den." The pup stretched a paw forward cautiously. Then he climbed onto the polar bear's back, and they crossed the tundra under the watchful eyes of a trio of baby puffins learning to fly. Back at the den, the polar bear licked and cleaned the pup. "I am not your mother," she said, "but I can feed you and keep you warm." The next day, they set off across the wintry tundra. When they spotted a walrus with long, sharp tusks, the polar bear bellowed and chuffed. "Where are we going?" asked the pup as they neared the water. "I am not your mother," said the polar bear, "but I can show you where to catch a fish." They passed a snow goose perched on a nest of eggs. They sniffed the trail of a seal as he tried to outsmart them. And they stopped at the water's edge where the fish and the lemmings came and went in a wondrous wheel of life. The sun shone down on the crisp, crackling snow, and the polar bear rolled in a snowbank. "Come on," she said to the pup. "I am not your mother, but I can play with you." But when the pup tugged too hard at the polar bear's fur, the bear growled. "I am not your mother," she said, "but I can scold you." Then she nuzzled the pup and tickled his tummy. Tired at last, the pup curled up against the bear, and they napped, listening to the wind whimper and sigh. The earth turned round and round, and the big freeze came, followed by the big melt, until at last the polar bear nudged the wolf, who wasn't a pup any longer. "I am not your mother," she said, "but I know it's time for you to go." And she nuzzled the wolf one last time and the wolf nuzzled her back. Then he walked out into the wide world. The wolf howled into the midnight sun, which glowed on the horizon, where day ended and night began, and he was answered by the cry of another wolf. Soon he was leading his own pack across the frozen tundra. Then one day the wolf came upon a polar bear cub huddled in a snowdrift. "Where is your mother?" asked the wolf. But the cub didn't know. The wolf sniffed the cub and rubbed its fur with a wet nose. "You are not my mother," said the cub, cowering. "I am not your mother," said the wolf, "but I can cuddle you and keep you warm." "Aren't you going to eat me?" asked the cub. "Wolves eat polar bear cubs." "Not this one," said the wolf, shaking his head. "Climb on my back, and I will take you to my den." And the polar bear clambered onto the wolf's back. "I am not your mother," said the wolf, "but you can stay with me until you're big enough to be on your own." And the wolf led the pack back across the tundra, along the path that went round and round in the wondrous wheel of life. And that is Pup and Bear. It says Kate Banks is the author of many acclaimed children's books. That's what I told you about. The bear, including the bear in the book, and the night worker, and If the Moon Could Talk. Yes, and let's see. Naoka Stoop has done The Red Knit Cap Girl, and a couple of those in that series. Yeah. Well, her books are first and foremost for children. Naoka has the artwork. Her artwork is also meant to bring out the 5-year-old in everyone. Yeah. Isn't this beautiful? Such a beautiful story. So glad. There we go. Yay. Anyway, scoot myself over back to where those were my stories for tonight. And I thought the second book, since, whoa, my phone, since we are kicking off our 2026 Global Year of Kindness. I mean, Thursday, I will be the official first, even though we've been doing and talking about some. Get it? Yeah. I thought that this story was a great lead into that because of the kindness part of it, not only just this wheel of life amongst the animals, but that whole aspect of the kind act and doing for something for someone different. And yeah, so that's why I chose it. I hope you enjoyed it. Yay. So we had Carlos says he's just checking in. I'm just going back in the chat. Yes. Fighting off Carlos, if you've been hit and by the rain, Paul, did you get hit by a lot by the rain down there? I thought it was a little further south in LA, but I know you guys. Yes, thank you. Yeah, it is a beautiful story. Thank you for the thumbs up and everybody. Really, really enjoyed it. So, you guys, those are the two stories that I had for tonight, and I thank you so much. This week, I I had this thought. Um, I did a kaleidoscope creative conversation last night about this, about what how we oftentimes look back at this time of year on what we've accomplished, or we'd start on goals ahead, and I realized that um, one of the things that we I do, at least, is I may make these plans of what I'm going to do, but I don't go back ever. So oftentimes forget to go back and look at the list or look at the things that I think. It's like I related it to like a recipe. Did I go back and check the recipe? So at the beginning of 2025, I made a kind of I chose the ingredients for the year of what I was going to do and had the recipe. But did I ever go back and check the recipe to see if um, I'd gotten through the things? So I still have thought about doing that, but I've realized that I have gotten through an awful lot of things, and I've done a lot of projects, and I've had a lot of growth. And the one thing that I can say about that, whether or not they're done or not, is that I feel good about the progress that I've made and the accomplishment. And what really feels good is to know that you bucket fillers have been right there along with me, and that what we've been doing has been something that all of us look forward to. And so I just have to say how blessed I am to have the bucket filling brigade in my life, and how blessed I am to be able to do this. And Mr. Moderator there, Paul, is the one who basically got me started on all of this. And so you guys can thank Paul or blame him for this whole thing, because it was from day one. Paul has always been there and very patiently um, pushed me through and helped me through things, so many different things. So it's wonderful. And then Linda shortly came in, I think, one of the early shows, and became the moderator. And Tamara joined right in and have stuck by. Lupe, if you're listening in on your TV like you oftentimes are, thank you so much. And I know Fatima is in the middle of some other, I think she has some other celebrations going on right now. But those of you, and Gail sent a message the other day, said to say hello to everybody, Gail Duke. And anyway, you guys, I just want to thank all of you for being here tonight. Carlos, for coming in. I appreciate it. You're someone who all of us look to and find inspiration from the work that you do. Paul, you just always push through everything. And Linda and Tamara, your artwork, your support, your just being who you are is absolutely amazing. And I thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. It's something I feel very, very fortunate. You know what? I just did not, it's not something I expected at this time in my life, to find this kind of fulfillment in something. Yeah. After having had the career that I did, to have retirement be this much fun. So I will be back on Thursday to start 2026 on New Year's Day for our global campaign for the Global Year of Kindness, and for more stories. We'll see what's out there. I was checking the library today and I thought, ooh, I haven't not seen that. There's a whole bunch more. So everybody, until next time, until next year, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's all around you, but the first place you'll find it is when you go look in your own mirror. I'll see you next year.